25th, 9:30 in the morning. There'll be a different judge than today. That's called a trial readiness hearing. It's not, nothing really substantive happens. We don't address the facts of the case. It's just the judge setting the actual trial date for a jury trial. They are, again, quite backed up. So it will be, and this is largely due to the pandemic, so the trial dates are not even being set. Jury trials are not even being set in these kind of cases until like April or thereabouts.
So right now, the trial date is set for October 12th.
Has not been set. Trial date's not been set.
So what is
this thing's called a trial readiness hearing. Which the prosecutor, well, basically, it's the judge says, defense, do you need any, do you need more, has the government given you the discovery, meaning the police, which they did. We have police reports, and I have video. I mean, I can share that stuff with you. I may be able to...
Yeah, you sent me the videos.
Okay. Right. So there's that. So they say, do you need anything? In other words, it's really just another status hearing. It's called a readiness hearing. Theoretically, the prosecutor is also supposed to be, the prosecution, the government is supposed to be able to say, they're supposed to look to see, do they have the witness available? So if they determined before the readiness hearing that they, for some reason, don't have the ability to go forward, then they are supposed to stand up at that hearing and say, Your Honor, we won't have a witness. We're dismissing this case. We're not ready. We won't be ready. So theoretically,
if the accusers don't show up to court or anything, then they just dismiss the case.
Well, right. So when it comes to the trial date, and that happens sometimes, right? The accuser, the person who claims they were assaulted or whatever, fails to come to court, then typically that would mean the government cannot prove their case, so therefore their only choice would be to dismiss. Because they're the ones that have the burden to prove that the crime occurred. I don't know how they would.
So as long as they don't show up, I'll win the case.
Yeah, they would need. This person, remember, claimed. The claim is that this guy Palomo, meaning you, he spit on me. He spit at me. And there was a verbal argument, and then he spit at me, intentionally. They would either need that person or theoretically some eyewitness who was maybe standing by who could say, yes, I saw, somebody who allegedly saw that. So correct. They would need, they need proof. They need evidence. Of course, that doesn't mean it's true, but yeah, correct. If they don't have somebody who was present there at the time as an eyewitness, then they couldn't move forward with the case. A lot of times you don't really find that out until the day of that it's scheduled for trial.
That whether they're going to show up or not?
Correct. Yeah.
So as long as they don't show up, I win, right?
Correct.
Okay, so they won't even move forward with a jury trial or anything because if they don't show up.
So it's what happened, right? So in the when it comes to the date of a trial, the first thing the judge says is to the prosecution, government, you got your witnesses, are you ready to go forward? And sometimes the government, the prosecutor says, Your Honor, we've had trouble finding the witness. We can't go forward, case dismissed. That happens sometimes. Or they say, yep, we're all ready to go. Our witnesses are, they're on the way. So let's pick a jury. So yeah, you find out really whether they're going forward on the day of, for sure. That's the only way to know for sure. When the trial date.
So I wouldn't even speak to the judge about any anything.
Well, if the case gets dismissed,
Because
that's correct. They would not
if they don't
entertain you.
if they don't show up, then there's no reason to move the case any forward anymore. Correct?
that's right.
And
Exactly.
so that's basically it's thrown out the window and done with.
Yep. Yep. Yes. Yep.
And
I mean,
so
like I said, we won't know that until the trial date comes around.
so when will the trial?
These guys are, this person is what's called a special police officer. That means he had to go through training and he had to get licensing. You know, now it's always possible that during this time that's gone by, he could have moved to, you know, Alaska or who knows where the hell. He could have moved on somewhere. Typically, though, it's some local person.
This was not one individual. This was a team effort.
Yeah, I get it.
This was about 10 people, if not more, at the same time.
They just need one witness who claims that they saw you spitting on somebody. Right? If they can find somebody like that, then they could probably move forward with the
It
case.
wasn't saying that I was spitting on them. There was a fight. It was a fight that broke out. There was kicks and punches flying everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Well, that's why you have to, you know, that's when you'll get your chance to say your thing. I mean, according to this dude, whose name is Christopher Clark, who's some supposed special police officer, he says that he was tasked with escorting you out of the location. He claimed that as he approached you to tell you to leave, or to escort you out of the building, that you, quote, spit in his face. So he placed you under arrest.
There was all sorts. They were yelling and yapping, and there was all this situation that was going on that is all linked to that very incident and event that had happened. Like I said, you know, these electronic devices that they've been using on me have been used on me for a very long time, and I'm not sure what money other people have invested that has totally been extracted from these electronic devices, meaning someone comes in and I'll put a hit on somebody. You know, it doesn't take very much. You know, if I have, you know, $30,000, I could make sure that guy doesn't show up to court if I want to. I'll track him down, look him up on the internet. I'll walk around Washington, D.C. This is what money can do. This is what they're doing to me. I don't know who's millionaires that are showing up and saying, okay, I'm gonna get dream home makeovers, and I'm gonna get these TV shows and these celebrities, and they have the infinite amount of money. Money is just filled with rooms that are filled with money. They can buy off anything.
You think these guys in the
100%.
shelter were using this money?
There was people in that nobody at least half of those people were not really homeless. They weren't really homeless and sleeping on the streets like I was. But like I said, it says it's private on the paperwork. It says it is private property. So that's a big problem, because I don't know when it's private property if someone can install hidden cameras or whatever to their liking, as opposed to it being a public homeless shelter. So I'm not sure what the regulations that goes along with that, but they were shooting electronic devices, making me shit on command repeatedly, making me get up, go to use a restroom, and there's anywhere up to 7 to 8 different electronic devices that are shooting at me simultaneously. This is you know, I'm literally just got back from going to like 4 different cities in like just in a few number of days. I flew from about 3 months. Was it 3 months ago? Yeah, it's like 3 months ago, 4 months ago. I went from Denver, Colorado to Las Vegas on a plane. Then I went to took a bus, running. Okay, this is fucking me jumping with my backpack and fucking getting away from these assholes that are stalking me and won't leave me alone and harassing me and telling me what I need to do and who to worship and who God is and who isn't, and what's going to happen with my family, what's going to happen with my brothers and my life, and I'm infected with HIV and this and that. I jump on a bus to go to Hollywood, or to go to LA. So I stay in Las Vegas for 2 days. I go take a bus, Greyhound bus, stay there for 2 days. It's chaos. I mean, there's people. It's chaos. All these people know who I am. Then I take a plane from there to Portland, Oregon. Okay, and it stops by San Francisco. I jump on a different plane, to make the transfer. When I get to, Portland, Oregon, I speak to, trying to contact an old friend, trying to hear and figure out what the shenanigans is about what's really, going on with a mess of things that I have a lot of other people that are coming after me. And everyone's scrambling around to see how much money and see how much fame, and they're just looking out for themselves. They're really not, they're squandering my life, trying to make it for the better for themselves only. So, and I flew from, once I got to Portland, Oregon, I flew another plane over to Hawaii, Honolulu, Hawaii.
Where do you get all this money?
I'm on disability right now. I got.
Flying can be a little expensive, no? I guess you get some expensive flights.
Flights are like $100. You could take like a round trip from Dallas to Las Vegas.
What airline do you usually take? Just depends.
Cheapest, yeah, whatever the cheapest is. But I took the plane to Hawaii. The people are following me in the goddamn planes. I get off the plane, it's like a 10-hour flight, and then all it is like it's like the captain, or the flight, air pilot gave me a beer. It was like, I guess to relax or some shit. But he was like, I don't really understand, how is it, any of this is really, not being put into a situation, to a judge to even look at. So like I said, I guess I'll speak to the judge. Hopefully there's a jury trial. And
Look, it's not, you're confusing it a little. You don't speak to the judge. In a trial, like I said, they gotta go. The prosecution has to call witnesses first.
Well, as I'm
to try to prove whether or not, to claim that you committed some crime, right? Once they're finishing all their witness, once they've put on all their evidence, which would be some witnesses to testify, of course, when they're testifying, of course, I get to cross-examine them. I get to ask questions.
But we won't know if they don't show up until the day we
That's
walk
different.
into court.
I'm assuming they're showing up. If they don't show up, boom, done, over. Go home. That's it.
Yeah, and I'm done.
But we're assuming it's going forward. Let's assume they're going to produce a witness. They just need at least one witness. Once they finish testifying, then it becomes the defense turn, our turn, and then you would be called to the witnessing. You get up there in front of the jury. The only way you get to speak is I ask you questions.
Right.
So what's your name? Where are you from?
Right.
Where are you from? Little background information. Who are you? Then we have to go to start asking you questions on the date when this thing. Were you there? Were you living at this place? What were the circumstances? All that, and then you get your chance to explain what happened. And obviously, you have to address, because you're specifically being accused of an assault. So obviously, you have to address. I'm asking you, did you assault this man? Did you spit on this man? Did you hit him? Did you do? Because that's what you're charged with.
Yeah.
So obviously, you've got to address that.
Yeah, I'm going to be saying this to the judge, and I'm going to be saying, look, this is what
you're
they're
saying it to the whole courtroom.
The whole courtroom.
The judge is just listening. Yes, the judge is listening.
But they won't even have me on the jury seat or whatever if he doesn't show up. Yeah, the witness stand. The witness stand. They won't even have me on the. But they won't even have me on the witness stand unless, like, if he didn't show up, then they'll just dismiss it right away. There's
we'll know in the morning whether
he shows up or not.
It's dismissed or not.
But we actually still walk into court and see the judge. Yeah, right.
Correct.
And then they're like, okay, so and so, Hector Palomo may rise, and and then you speak on my behalf as the attorney, and then they have the defendant, the other lawyer that's supposed to be fighting for the prosecutor that's going to be fighting for the state of the government, and then since he doesn't show up, they'll dismiss it right then and there. But I still have the chance to walk into a court and say something, correct?
No. If they dismiss it, you're done.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm done. That sounds good. So.
We don't know. I mean, we're assuming it's going to go I mean, yeah, that's easy. It will be very easy if they don't have a witness. I suspect they're going to have a witness because there were a lot of people there.
Yeah.
So they're going to have somebody. And they're not, and there's somebody that are licensed police officers. They're called what they call special police officers. They're not they're not with the city. They're technically like privately employed, but they're also licensed by the government, the district court.
I don't know. They look like Halloween.
Typically is around.
They look like Halloween costumes, but
I get it.
I hopefully if I don't understand how there's only just one person that really was claiming this. There was 10 of these motherfuckers that were just doing this shit, kicking and punching, in a big gang fight.
Nobody's claiming you punched them. Nobody's saying you got it. Now you may have been punched. That may be different. You can explain that.
This was a riot, okay? A riot, like a group of riot people, but.
There were other residents there that were involved in this melee?
Yeah, it was all. They all ran out. They all fucking all of them. There was like 10, 15 of them.
All of them. What do you mean by all?
It was all the homeless people. Even the security guard is the one that kicked me in the head when I was on the floor, and they were just all. But regardless of this circumstance, if I don't understand why if the one that claims they spit on him or whatever didn't show up, then there was these 10 other individuals that did this shit, but. Regardless, I mean, I guess it really goes out my argument to even to say anything if he doesn't show up because they'll just throw it out the window. But I want to be able to prosecute. I want to be able to. No, I want to be able to prosecute against these assholes.
Yeah.
I want to be able to prosecute and say, okay, look, I'm being shot with these electronic devices. I'm shooting machine guns and firearms out in Las Vegas.
You would have to do that on your own. I mean, I'm not in a position to I only defend. I'm not a prosecutor, or I don't do civil lawsuits. I mean, I guess you have to go to court, bring your own lawsuit.
Okay, well, that's the fact that I'm jumping on planes should be concerned. I'm not sure exactly how judges deal with certain types of situations where if he feels or she thinks that there's a circumstance where I'm not in a safe area, then to my address not be given to other people and random people, and my phone not be tapped or start an investigation and who's sending these motherfuckers.
I mean, the judge isn't really going to doesn't have any authority.
To my understanding, I've seen
unless some legal action is before the judge, then the judge really cannot do anything.
Well, to my understanding is the judge has the ability to do something to, make it aware to
Not if there isn't some lawsuit filed. They can't do it. It's completely out of their jurisdiction. They don't have the power.
Well, I've heard of the situations like this happen before where people are become either threatened before they go to court or whatever circumstance.
Some legal proceeding has to be filed.
Yeah, there's some sort of legal procedure that if the judge feels that I can't speak on my behalf and you definitely can't because I'm being harassed and being threatened and whatnot. I mean, I think jumping on planes is a pretty fucking serious thing. You're jumping, going on to different states and running all over the goddamn place. I'm being shot with electronic devices 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the thing is that I don't ever know what the hell's going to happen. So if I go to court or jail for something else, then they're going to put this trial and they'll put this court and they'll latch it onto me when I'm in jail. And so I have to make sure that.
So you don't have any other open cases, right? Other than this DC thing.
I'm being threatened all the time. I never know what the hell's going on. I don't know who's using these electronic devices. I never know.
In DC, you actually have a criminal charge. I'm just asking, do you have anything like that anywhere else in the country? As far as you know.
No, I mean.
You don't have any other open cases.
I don't know what can happen. I don't know. I never know. I get people.
They would have to serve you.
Well, like I said.
The judge also told you need to call the 202-585-7955.
Call that number for what?
You have to call them. They're pretrial. They just need to check on your sort of whereabouts. It's sort of, he ordered you to, as a condition of release. You just got arraigned. That was your first appearance. So they made it as a condition of your release that you contact the DC Pretrial Services Agency, just by phone, just to say, yep, this is who I am, and I'll be in court. So you're supposed to call. I would call them today.
All right.
202. You want me to text it to you?
Yeah, text me the
I'll
number.
text you the number. Yeah,
And
585.
this is just to call them and just tell them that what?
They're required to they just go, okay, who are you? And like,
It's
okay,
just-
your court date is October 25th.
It's like a
You know, they just
probation
kinda make
check-in.
sure- It's just to make sure you're like alive. No.
Oh, I haven't been murdered yet.
Yep. That's good.
So in the circumstances that I just have to call them one time, or like once a month, or once a
Well,
week.
once you call, he's saying probably maximum once a month. When you call them the first time, they'll tell you when you're supposed to call back again. He was saying it's probably once a month, just to check. And after a while, you know, they tell you though. It's called the pretrial services. So almost everybody gets that as a condition. This judge just tells everybody that, you know. So, all right. So I'll text you that.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I guess, yeah. Hopefully, if he doesn't show up, so it'll work more into my. I don't know even know. I guess
Yeah.
I have to get my own attorney to figure out to start a civil action, because I don't understand how any of these individuals, you know, just because they don't show up, you know, which is they're not going to show up. I know they're not going to want to show up, because the public situation that I'm in, they'll just contact them and they'll say, okay, don't show up, because it you know, we got to beat them up for a little bit and then we win again. No, I want
Find out. I don't know.
I want to
Yeah.
persecute these assholes, you know, whatever it is. But I'm not sure exactly how that works, because I have to, you know, I'm not allowed to hire my own attorney. Now I'm being held hostage in the
You're
circumstance.
not allowed.
Yeah,
You're not allowed.
these electronic devices are fucking.
Okay.
There's
Okay.
8 to 10 different of these motherfucking electronic devices. I'm telling you, you know, they empty out my bladder system at least 2 to 3 times a day and make me wake up when they tell me to wake. There's an electronic device that halts my brain from the ability to think and process any thought. It halts the brain and completely. So, like I said, you know, had it been, you know, if I still can, I guess I have to look into what, you know, attorneys, because I'm being stalked. I'm being followed everywhere I go. So the minute I make a phone call and the minute I get on a bus to go to contact an attorney to ask any questions, they immediately contact the attorney, or they do whatever it is they want to do to me.
Okay.
They do. They just sabotage me. You know, I in my opinion, in my statement, in my opinion, I want a whole jury trial deal, and if I like to go, be able to get an attorney to, like you said,
Well, that's a
you don't,
separate thing.
yeah, you don't do anything about that. So, I guess I'd have to hire my own
I'm
attorney.
only appointed to represent you on the fact that you're charged with the crime of assault.
Right.
So,
So, but if I want to be able to charge these individuals and go get an attorney and do the whole civil shit, because, you know, whoever's shooting with these, it's these parasites that are just, I don't know who's paying these people or saying, oh, okay, because Dream Home Makeovers, Extreme Dream Makeovers built all these pyramid shit, you know, houses and all this new colleges and all, whatever, and they want to drag my ass into their bullshit and want to say, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know, we didn't mean to rape you, we didn't mean to fucking, you know, not allow you to be alive, oh, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to have all these horrible shit things happen to me. I mean, I had $800, I had $800 stolen from me when I got to Dallas, you know, like 4 or 5 months ago. And I got another $800 or $700 stolen from me when I was jumping on these different plane to plane, city to city, and gave them a deposit at these hotels. How am I supposed to hire an attorney with no money? You know, that's about $1,600-$1,700, you know, stolen from me when I got to hire an attorney with. And this is how they deplete my ability to hire an attorney.
Okay. Well, I gotta move on. I will
So the information
text
that
you the number you need to call. So
The-
you know,
the
so you follow the court's ruling.
the information that is given to you, you would transfer over to an attorney if I was able to hire an attorney for
Oh,
you.
sure.
You would give them that
Well,
information,
you know,
correct?
it's interesting you say that, because actually there's actually protective orders on the video. I'm not supposed to necessarily release it to just anybody, but we could probably get permission to. Yeah.
Well, I'm
As an
saying
attorney.
about the paperwork, the statements, and all that, because
Oh, yeah. Of course. Yes, of course. I would absolutely give all that to anybody you wanted me to give it to, basically.
well, in the circumstance, like I said, in all my ability, if I can hire an attorney to be able to say, because obviously that's not the department you work in, then that's exactly what I'll be doing, because whoever the hell this is just running their own posse of games on me. That's all they're fucking doing.
Okay. All right. Well, I gotta go on. I'm gonna send you a text message in a moment. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I will talk to you soon. I will have to give you directions with a different login. It's a different core room. So you will need different login credentials to get into the next hearing on the 25th. Okay.
So October 25th is what?
A Monday.
And Monday that's another video, and what is that? That's just,
Yep.
that's
Just to pick dates.
and that's
Then
just
you're going to be told, okay, here's your trial date, Mr. Plum. I'll come back then.
okay. So October 25th, they'll tell me you have court this day, and then that's whenever. So I won't, So that's only when they're going to tell me what day that I go to court.
Correct.
I won't be speaking about anything about the circumstances.
And they won't. We're not really. It's not to get into like any details of the case at that hearing, right? Like what did he do or what didn't he do or da da da. It's just they just set dates, and if there's any motions to be filed, they'll say I can do that. Like if I don't think he really said anything pretty much to the cops. So I'll have to double check that. But in other words, another legal thing that I do from the perspective of a criminal defense lawyer is if the police questioned you after you were in custody, you were taken into custody, if they questioned you in any way, asked you anything, then they would need to advise you of your Miranda rights. So for instance, if someone, quote, confessed to committing a crime, but while they were under arrest, but they were not advised of their Miranda rights, which is the whole thing of you have the right to remain silent, you have the right to get an attorney before speaking to any police, then the evidence would get thrown out. That doesn't get the case dismissed, it just gets any, quote, confession or statement thrown out. So they discuss that. That's also something that just gets brought up at the readiness hearing. But I'm pretty sure, as I recall, you didn't really ever say, you never
The police officer,
confessed to committing any crime.
there's nothing more than scares a police officer more than an attorney. I mean, there's nothing because they know that they know that I don't know shit.
It's part of their job. They deal with them all the time. Yeah,
Well,
yes, I hear you.
the idea that they can, I don't know what I told them or whatever it is when I was in jail, but whatever the situation is that they're just really. They could say whatever they fucking want because they fucking are working along with these people. They don't want to do shit about these electronic devices. I goddamn had a fucking knife to my throat and murder attempt placed on me, and all these people were fucking using it to their ability. And like I said, today's the day my father fucking died, and then these motherfuckers are coming around just yapping away, taking ownership of a dead corpse, a person they didn't even fucking know, and they just keep mouthing off, and someone is sending these people, and this is how the police officers deal with this shit. It's the same way the police officers, when they don't do shit, it's because they want somebody else to do the harms, because if they just stay in their nice little fucking seat and not do shit. Everyone knows how corrupt the police officers are. The idea that I could show evidence that, that the police is not doing anything about, whatever and how corrupted they are, when I go to court, I can show them how many tickets I got coming right out of cancer, coming right out of the hospital. I got goddamn, 27, 28 tickets in a 2-year period of time for the same fucking thing. They were just following me around and then waiting until somebody was going to do some shit, and they did. And then they were shooting electronic devices, and this is why whenever I, whatever the circumstances is, like I said, and the judge, but all this is going to be thrown out. If they don't show up, then they're not going to show up. Why are they going to show up? To give me a chance to argue? No, because really, when not showing up is going to be like, fuck you. That's basically what they're going to be doing. But like I said, I don't know what the police officers and what those pigs are responsible. They can't give me back my time and can't give me back the unbelievable injustice that was done. I don't care about those pigs. I don't want to be they ain't worth a flying fuck. I'm not here you know, I'm not here to, you know, to participate in any type of forgiveness fucking story, you know, with dream home makeovers and all this. No, it's your life. I don't care, you know. And you know, the idea that somebody's shooting these electronic devices and beating the shit out of me is because of that. Like, I'm right now sitting in circumstances and they have people represent the dead corpse, then, you know, this other individual that did something else bad, and they start antagonizing the situation because they're fighting for these fucking assholes. This is a group effort that they're fucking doing this. I shouldn't have to be having conversations to a judge about my personal life and what's really happening, and being terrified because, you know, of the police officers don't do nothing. They don't want to do shit. I can't hire an attorney. I can't speak to the police. I mean, they won't give me 10 minutes to fucking talk about what the hell is going on. They won't give me 10 minutes to speak about what's happening. So, you know, in the situation that, like I said, you know, when I speak to a judge, you know, I'm like, what the fuck? They're beating the fuck out of me because they want to say a fucking sorry to the person that raped me. Fooled me. It was a transgender. You know, the deathful wish that the people were making, and all the classroom individuals that were in the classroom. They're all giving them free money. They're all building them fucking houses and gave them college degrees and brand new cars is what they did, while they threw me out to the streets. And I'm not allowed to go to jail for this shit? No, it's because when you held somebody hostage and you scare their shit out of them, you know, people do this in domestic family home environments. When the female or the wife or you know, a person that's going to testify gets threatened, you know, they don't want to do shit because the outcome, who's really in charge. It ain't the police department. It's these motherfuckers that are doing this shit. You know, I shouldn't have to be in any kind of circumstance. I shouldn't be in circumstances anywhere where I have to speak about, you know, my court case, because the idea of what court is and not knowing whatever can happen would rely on my ability to defend myself in any conversation. Like I said, you know, there's been all kinds of crazy shit that's happened. I had somebody pulled a gun on me, you know, a police officer when I was working for the disability office. I had another individual pull a knife on me when I was on the fucking train, and the police officers directly pointed the gun at this motherfucker, you know, and he was waving the knife around with a bunch of little kids running around, you know, and nothing gets done. So like I said, I don't ever know. All I get is, you know, very clear messages and threats, and I don't ever know. I like to keep the case in secluded areas and conversation in private, but I can't do shit. They control the lifespan on my batteries and my phones. They control everything on the networks of the phone. So, like I said, you know, this all pertains to the ability for me to say anything about a case that I'm having to deal with.
All right. Well, let me text you the right stuff, because you just need to call in, okay? And then we'll talk soon. I'll check in with you before the 25th, okay?
Yeah.
Just to make sure you have the right information, because you will need
Is
your
this?
friend to log in.
I may fly overseas, and is this going to affect anything if in the time?
No.
This is not
No,
going
it
to.
shouldn't.
Okay.
Okay, no. You just got to be at the hearing, you know, log into the hearing when you're supposed to. Okay?
Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
All right. Talk to you later. All right. Bye-bye.